Good evening, everybody, and welcome to our event, our free introduction to shamanism. I'm glad to see so many of you are here already. That's great. So you'll see on this software that we have a chat box. So if at any point tonight you've got anything to share or you have any questions, then you can pop them in there and I'll be happy to answer those, and it'll be good to see people. Hi Lorraine, Lorraine's here, it's great to see you. So if anybody wants to have a wee practice and say hi, that's now you can do that. So it's a couple of things, hi Robert, and a couple of things that I'd just like to say to start with, just before we get kicked off, is that it's quite important that we stay till the end if you can. And there's a couple of reasons for that. Hi Marie, hi Susie, hi Kelsey. The reasons for that are that we'll do a little healing circle at the end, and the healing circle is really designed to round everything off and leave you feeling quite confident to be able to do this work at home. So it's quite important that you give yourself that time. Hi Susan, Tracy, Susanna, Alison, Joe, lots of people in, that's great. And the second reason to stay till the end is to find out how you can win a special prize. So I'm going to give away a one-to-one session with me, and that can either be distance or in person if you live close enough. So you need to stay to find out how to enter that competition to win that one-to-one session. And so who else have we got? We've got Sue. Hi Sue, I'm fine, thank you. And we've got Hilary, which is great to see. Sophie's here. Hi Sophie. So what we're going to do to start with is we're going to just have a wee think about some of the issues that we face with this work. And these are the things that, oh, hi, Michelle's here. Hi, Michelle. It's nice to see you again, twice in one day for us. So we're going to start off with a few pain points. And I call them pain points because they're the things that my clients come to me with over and over again. And I just want to address them right now and get them out in the open so that if this is you, then you're going to feel a lot more relaxed and a little bit better about the work that we're going to do. So the first pain point that I often see is people feel a little bit overwhelmed, or they feel like they don't have time to do this work. Okay, so what I'd like to remind everybody is that making yourself your own number one priority for even just 15 minutes once a week is not a huge big deal. So what you're going to learn tonight is really simple. It doesn't take long to do yourself, and it's really important to prioritize yourself even just a tiny bit, because when our bucket's full, then we can support and help those around us. But if our bucket is empty, then we really can't do that. So if you feel like you don't have time for this work, then maybe this is the time to start making time, okay? So that's the first thing I often see. The second thing is people will often say, oh, I don't really know enough. I don't think I'm going to get it right. I think I'm going to make mistakes. So the joy of this work is that there's no such thing as a wrong experience. There's no such thing as a mistake. Shamanism is a direct revelation to your spiritual team. It's a direct connection to spirit. Okay, so you can't make mistakes with that. Your experience is absolutely right and valid for you at all times. So what I always say to people is be inspired, talk to your friends, read books, you know, be in tribe and community. But at the end of the day, your experience is right. That is correct. Nobody can tell you that what you've experienced is incorrect, okay? So if you're feeling a little bit nervous, or like you might not be able to do this, or you might get it wrong, then try and put those thoughts aside. Some of you who are on tonight might click and just get it straight away, and you're off in non-ordinary reality, speaking to dragons and all kinds of things. And some of you might take a little bit longer, but that's okay, because everybody's got their own pace, and everybody can learn how to do this work, okay? And then the third thing that I hear a lot from people is that they say, oh, never stick to anything. You know, I jump about, I'm always trying this and that, and I can't just stick to one thing and get really good at it. So I've got two things to say about that. If you're the personality where you really enjoy sticking to something and getting really deep with it, then that's great. But not everybody's like that. So what I find to be really good about shamanism is that it slots in really well with all of the other things that we can learn. It's not a catch-all, nothing is, and it can work really, it's non-denominational, and it can work really well alongside all of the other things that we know and learn. So I know a lady who I've trained with who does shamanic Reiki. So she's taken two modalities and melded them together in a beautiful synergy. So if you feel like, oh, I shouldn't be doing something else, or I should be sticking to this thing over here, or you're feeling a bit torn, then don't worry. Shamanism is just so flexible that it can really fit into anything that you're doing. Okay, so those are the three kind of main things that I tend to see from people. So if you have any other pain points, hesitations, worries, concerns, then you can pop those in the chat box there, and I will do my best to answer those as well. But those are the main ones that tend to come up. So what is a shamanic journey? Because I think you're all here to learn how to go on a shamanic journey, how to meet your team. In our Facebook group, we have talked about that quite a bit, but I know not all of you are in the Facebook group, so I'm going to give you a little quick rundown of what a shamanic journey is, and later on in the workshop I'll put a link up for the Facebook group for anybody that wants to join. But basically, a shamanic journey is an ancient way to connect, receive wisdom and guidance from our spiritual team, from our guides, from our power animals. We use percussion. I'll be using my drums, which you'll see behind me tonight when we do our journey together. And what that percussion does is it changes our brainwaves. It moves us into an altered state of consciousness. It puts us into a dreamlike state where we can travel in the unseen realms called non-ordinary reality. That's what it's called in shamanism, non-ordinary reality. With our guides, receive healing and receive guidance. And usually in the West, we often do that lying down with our eyes closed, which is the way that we're going to try it tonight. But there are lots of different ways to journey. You can journey dancing, you can journey walking in nature. So we're just going to learn the kind of more lying down, eyes closed, kind of relaxed journey. But just so you know, there are lots of different ways to journey. This is only one way that we're learning tonight. So that's a journey. It's where we move ourselves into, we alter our consciousness, connect with our guides, and move off into the dream time. The Aboriginals call it the dream time. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. That's what we're going to learn how to do tonight. And there are some pretty basic steps that really kind of help us to be able to do that. And these steps are pretty important. If you miss any of the steps, then you will probably struggle to get a really deep journey and a really deep connection. So when anybody comes back to me after doing an introduction to shamanism and lets me know that they've struggled to connect, it's usually because they've missed one of these key steps. Okay? So I'm going to give you the steps, and then I'm going to go through each of the steps one by one, and then we're going to try a journey. And what I would also like to remind you, if you don't already know, I'm going to send out literature, okay, with all of these steps. So don't frantically concern yourself that you're going to forget, because I'll send you out the information, okay? So there's 6 basic steps. The first is set sacred space. Number 2 is set an intention. Number 3 is connect with our guides, who we're going to meet tonight, hopefully for everybody. Number 4, we go on the journey. Number 5, we return and write it down. And number 6, we complete and ground ourselves. Sometimes people like to switch the last 2 rounds. Sometimes people like to ground and complete and then write their notes, but that's up to you. And as you get better at journeying and more used to the journey work, then you'll kind of figure out your own way with it. That's the joy of shamanism. There's no, this is the way. It's all here, this is the framework, and you can build your confidence within that and build your own map and find a way that works for you, resonates for you, and makes your heart sing. So there's no overlay there. There's no big book or big stick, which is one of the things I really love about shamanism, is the fluid nature of how we can really grow our own practice within it. But those are the 6 basic steps. Okay, is everybody with me so far? Is everybody clear on what we're doing and what I'm saying? Just give me a shout out in the comments if you're with me. Yep, Susan, great. Yeah, everybody's there. Perfect. So if anybody at any point, please do use the comment box if I'm losing you. Great. Hilary, Mags, Mary, Willow, Susie, Lorraine, Alison, yes. Great. Sue, brilliant. So now I'm going to go through each of those steps one by one. Okay? So number 1, set sacred space. So there's lots of ways to set sacred space, and you can get really creative with how to set sacred space, but there's some pretty basic things that we can do. So for example, here I have my candle, and this candle holder was a gift to me from my friend, Fee, who bought me this because she thought I would love it, and I do love it. So I light a candle. I will smudge my space, smudging being sage, or I've got some shaga as well, which is I'm not even sure what it is. Somebody gave me it as a gift. You get it in birch trees. I think it might be a fungus, but it smells lovely. I just want to add a little aside about smudging. You can also use incense, or you can rattle around the space, just clearing out with the intention just to clear out anything and make sure it's really nice and settled and ready for you to do your sacred shamanic work in. But when we're working with any kind of smudging, I'd like to just bring to your awareness that I always try and source my sacred tools from an ethical, sustainable source. Okay, so please be aware that things like Palo Santo are endangered species of tree and are not ethically sourced usually, although you can find it if you look hard enough. White buffalo sage in California is also becoming endangered, so I tend to either use gifts that people have given me, because that's beautiful and that's come to me, so I can use that. But often I'll go out into nature and collect things and use that for smudging. I'll use things like sage from this country, which is prolific. I'll use mint. I'll use the needles from Scots pine, really good. You can collect those and bind them up and use those for smudging. So there's lots of different ways that you can do it sustainably and ethically. And hopefully that's something that you'll think about anyway. But if you've not given it a thought, then have a think about that. Can you just collect herbs you collect yourself? Absolutely, Alison. I just collect herbs out of my garden and dry them, like you just bind them with a bit of string and hang them up to dry, and then you can burn those, and you'll get to know what herbs are better for burning and what aren't so good. Like sage that we I type slower than you talk. Yeah, well, I do talk quite fast, Alison, that's for sure. But what you'll notice with the sage that you get in gardens is when you burn it, it's very flaky. So I always try and have like a jar or a plate or something underneath it, otherwise it'll burn your carpet. But you'll get to know the different things that you can use for sure, and just experiment, speak to the plants, see what they've got to say. So that's what I would do about that. So we're still setting sacred space. So we're smudging the area, we're lighting a candle, and then we can say some words. And typically in shamanic work, and you'll hear me do this later, is we'll call things in. So in your literature, I've given you a list of examples of things you can call in, but I'll call in the 4 sacred directions of north, south, east, and west, the 4 sacred elements, the spirit of the land, the trees, nature. I'll call in the sun and the moon. I'll call in the ancestors. I'll call in my guides. You know, you just sort of call and acknowledge and thank all of the different nature spirits, beings. Susan's asking what is smudging, so I'm going to show you right now. So we've got your sage, which you then burn. Can you see this? So this smoke comes, it's sacred smoke, and it clears the air, removes any negative energy, clears your aura. You'll see, try it, it's really good. Incense is really good. If you haven't done this before and you're just not sure what to use, then just buy a box of incense and use that. So smudging is basically a way to clear the space. Jane, your literature will come out in an email. You'll get that. I'll let you, and I'll make sure everybody's subscribed to the email list at the end. Okay, I'll send a list. Oh, you're welcome, Jane. So we've lit a candle, we've cleared the space energetically by smudging, and we've called in the directions, 4 sacred directions, the sky and the earth, and we're creating kind of a bubble of light. Just imagine that. These words, I call it a prayer. Sometimes people have an issue with that word, but it's essentially what it is. So we create a prayer of light all around us. Lorraine's also saying that essential oils are really good for clearing your space as well, which is great. I do use those too. Well done, Lorraine. Thanks for reminding me. And Joe is saying that it's really interesting. So I'm glad you're enjoying it, Joe. So it's the words. Words are magic. Okay, so this is important. Your sacred space setting before you do a journey will make or break your journey. Okay, so you really do need to take your time and create the space for yourself. And then when you get good at it, you can do it really quickly when you need to. But to start with, really take the time, go deep with it, really feel the power of those words that you're creating. Okay, so that's you setting your space. So the next thing we do, number 2, is that we set an intention. This is quite interesting because I'm watching the chat box at the same time. So Denise is saying that she's looking forward to learning, and Michelle is suggesting sweetgrass and Florida water, which is great. Michelle, maybe you can, I know I use sweetgrass, but I've not heard of Florida water, so maybe you can send me an email and let me know what that is. I'd be really interested to learn. So intention. Now this is a tough one. People do struggle with this a little bit to start with. It can be quite difficult. So an intention is the fuel that drives our journeys. If we don't have an intention, you'll get lost and you'll have no idea what's happening and why it's happening. It's really important to have a clear intention. So examples of an intention are, you can have a healing intention or you can have an information intention. But what an intention isn't, and this is really important, I wish I had pom-poms, an intention is not fortune telling. We're not fortune tellers, okay? We are keepers of divine wisdom. We are shamanic people. And by fortune telling, what I mean is I'm going to go on a journey to find out when I'm getting my new car. Where's my new car? Or where's my new house? Or why haven't I had a promotion? Or, that kind of thing. When am I getting married? Who's my husband going to be in the future? That kind of thing. That's not what this is about, guys, okay? So let's change it up and think about it a little bit, okay? So we're putting the fortune telling to the side and we're starting to take some personal responsibility for our own lives, for our own actions. So instead of asking, where's my new car? Where's my new house? What we're going to say is, show me the blocks and the actions I can take to overcome. Sorry, let me rephrase that. What actions can I take to overcome the blocks that are stopping me from getting a new car. Can you see the difference? So instead of giving the responsibility over, well, why is it not happening? Like, where's all my new stuff, or where's my relationship, or where's my this, or where's my that? What can I do? What changes can I make? Okay? So intentions are really important. We're not fortune telling. And again, this will be in the literature that we send out. There's also a really good podcast. I know a lot of you all know already, but I do have a podcast called Shaman Talk. And there's a podcast called 6 Key Steps for a Successful Intention, or something like that. But it's episode 12. And I don't have time in the 2 hours to go through all of those in great detail. So please do episode 12. Please do go and listen to that. And it will really help you to formulate ethical, successful intentions. Okay. So that's number 2. So number 3 is we connect with our guides. Now today, the journey we're going to do together is we're going to meet a guide. Okay. And we'll do that. So you already have a guide when you try and do this on your own, okay? But the reason it's really important to connect with your guide is that we do not do this without a guide. That's what I've been taught. That's what my teacher was taught. My lineage comes straight through from Michael Harner, Sandra Ingerman, Carol Day, and then me. So that's the lineage that I have trained with. And these guys have been at this a long time, and they really know what they're talking about. And we always go on a journey with our guide. We never go on a journey without our guide, okay? It's just not safe. And I've never known that to go well for anybody, okay? So I'm like, oh, there's no rules and everything's great and really fluid, but there's a few things, just sensible things that we need to do to keep ourselves safe, and that's one of them, okay? So we always go on a journey with our guides. So Joe's asking who we know who our guides are. So today we're going to do our journey together, and the intention for the journey is that you're going to meet a guide. Okay, so you will know who your guides are, or at least one guide. And then as you go through your journeys and you get more confident, you'll meet more guides. So some people only have one, and some people have many. I've had many guides, and I'm only working with one guide at the moment, but in the past I've had power animals and guides and angels and all sorts. So it just depends what you need at the time. Okay, if that makes sense. And Willow is excited. Well, so am I. I'm always excited though. Okay, so we connect with our guides. So we're setting sacred space, we're setting our intention, we're connecting with our guides, and then we're going to go on the journey. So in order to have some frame of reference for this place that we're going to go to, the dream time or non-ordinary reality, we use what's called the Shamanic Map. Okay, now the Shamanic Map is based on the idea of a tree. So this is what I've been taught, and this is what works for me, and I know it works for a lot of people, but a lot of the people I've worked with through my courses and in my clients will maybe start off with this idea, but then they realise that doesn't work for them and they kind of make their own cosmology out of it. But I find that this is really an easy way to navigate this space, and then with time you'll get to know that really well, and it might change for you, which is really, really good and completely okay, because there's no right or wrong way, remember, in shamanism, it's only your experience. So we've got what's called the Great Tree, and at the top of the Great Tree we have the upper realms, and in the middle we have the middle realms, and at the bottom we have the lower realms. So I'm going to give you a quick description of each realm. If everybody can just confirm that they're keeping up and that this is making sense, that would be great. So the upper realms for me, and quite traditionally, are, thank you Robert, thank you Willow, Lorraine, Joe, Sophie, Alison, great, thank you guys. So the upper realms are, like, for me, they're very ethereal, very majestic, very white glass and clouds and kind of like Lord of the Rings type affair. And the upper realms are, for me, the place of knowledge, the place of the ancient libraries, the place of the Akashic records. So that's the place where I go to divine any kind of ancient knowledge that I'm looking for, or I need some very specific information. That's where I go as the upper realms. Excuse me. And then the lower realms are, for me, very earthy and ancient and kind of like Jurassic, with ferns and massive forests and mountains. It's not underground. The lower world's just a different world. It's not underground, but it's very ancient. And traditionally, that's the place of the power animals. That's where you would go to meet your power animals, okay? And then the middle realm, which you get to through the centre of the Great Tree, is the spiritual aspect of this plane. Okay, so everything you see here, it's the spiritual aspect of this plane. So that's the place where, like, as a practitioner, I would do work with land healing, I'd work with ancestral healing, I'd work with any kind of work that we need to do in this world. I would work in the middle realms usually for that. And if you guys are journeying to the middle realms, then that's the place where you would normally be journeying to for ancestral knowledge, or just kind of anything that's a bit more practical and based in this realm, okay? Denise is asking if you get assigned a specific guide. So in your journey, which I'm going to explain to you as best I can, your guide will appear to you, and I'm going to let you know how you know that it's the right guide, okay? And I'm here as well, so you can ask me, and we can, you know, we can be in the Facebook group together and like really make sure everybody's like super comfortable to get the guide that's right for them, okay? You're welcome, Denise. So I've lost my place. Oh yeah, so the Shamanic Map. So that's the middle realm. So we've got the upper, the middle, and the lower. And how you get to them is through the Great Tree. So you would set your sacred space, you have your intention, you connect with your guide, you listen to or play your drumming track, and then you close your eyes, and it's imagination that takes you on this journey. You use your imagination, basically, and you go on your journey. So then you come back from your journey, and then we get to number 5, which is return. So you return back the way you came. So if you went up, then you go down. You know, if you went down, then you come up, just to make sure that you really properly return to your body. And then you write it down. So I remember thinking, I'm never going to forget this. This is like the most amazing thing I've literally ever experienced, and I'll never forget it. Well, I did. So I cannot express how important it is to write your journeys down, especially if you don't understand them, because that does happen, okay? So you write them down, and then you can go back to them later. You can start to read through them and get a theme of the messages that you're getting, of the things that you need to be thinking about, you know, but you can't do that if you try and hold it all in your mind. So have a journal and write it down. And then you complete, and you say you're complete, you know, blow out your candle, and ground. So what does grounding mean? Grounding is quite important. So it basically means, like, you'll be out there, you've been out of your body, you're all away, you know, finding the magic of the universe, and then you come back and you're like, oh, God, oof, oh. So it's really important to feel yourself properly back in your body, properly clear, properly solid. Denise is saying that she has listened to Shamanic Journeying and finds it difficult to visualise. Okay, so that is a fantastic question, and I've got a whole segment on that just in a minute, and I'm going to make that really clear. So we come back, and we're feeling a bit floaty, or a bit like, oh. So rattling. Oh, is a really good way to just ground yourself. If you don't have a rattle, you can use a jar with like dried rice or peas or something. Anything that makes, you can use a you know, a vitamin bottle, anything that rattles is fine. Like, you don't need specific tools or anything. So having a shower, a hot bath, going outside into nature, walking around, you know, and feeling your feet on the ground, you know, it's really lots of different ways that you can feel grounded and clear after your journeys, okay? So that's set a sacred space, set an intention, connect with your guide, go on a journey, return and write it down, and then complete and ground. So those are the 6 key steps that you need to take in order to create a successful connection, okay? Can you use a rattle drum? Yes, Jill. You can literally use anything you want. I've used saucepans and spoons when I've been really desperate just to get a beat, you know. Honestly, can you really use anything you want? Oh, Robert's phone's acting up and dropping signal. Oh, we're going to send out the replay, Robert, so you'll be able to pick all this up again. You'll be able to watch it again, okay? Great. So, now, back to Denise's question, which is, she says she finds it difficult to visualise, and do you hear messages? Now, this is massive. People, this is huge. This is like one of the biggest things that stop people from really loving a shamanic journey and really getting into shamanism. It's one of the biggest problems that I hear people having, and that is, I can't see anything in my journeys, so I'm not doing it right. But we're a very visual culture. We're used to seeing things. We're used to receiving our information visually. If we have the gift of sight, then we are used to seeing our messages visually. But I promise you, not most people don't get their shamanic messages visually, okay? You'll get them in many different ways. And if you focus on the visual, then you miss out like all your other senses, okay? So for Denise, if you find it difficult to visualize things, then just stop trying to visualize. Notice how else you get your messages. Are you hearing things? Are you smelling things? Are you sensing things in your body? So for me, I do sometimes see things, but often my messages just come as like a knowing that like flashes across my face. Like if I remember meeting a guide and it was a fox, but I've literally never seen a fox in my visualizations. I just know that it was a fox. I could feel the energy of that and just knew that's what it was. So when we are going to go on this journey, and we're going to do it quite soon, it's just like really, really important to know that our messages come in so many forms. So please be as open-hearted as you can. Listen to your body. Listen to your intuition. You know, if you think about how you get your intuition, like how do those like little moments of clarity come for you? Is it just a heart feeling? Is it just a knowing? So drop the idea that you might see a Technicolor movie when you're in this journey, because for many of us, it's not going to happen that way. So what else? We've got some great questions. I'm going to do some questions now. So Jane's saying that she works with crystals, and can we have crystals with us for this? Absolutely, yes. And a great intention when you learn how to journey is you can journey to the spirit of your crystals and see what messages and guidance and healing that they can give you in the middle world. So that's a really nice way to work with crystals. You're welcome, Jane. Mary's asking if you remember how I was looking for an animal or human and it was colours. Yeah, so Mary ended up, she just sees colours, that's all she sees, and she gets her messages that way. Denise is saying, yes, Joe, stones as well, like anything, basically. You can do that with anything. And Denise is saying, I sometimes fear I'm making up what I think I see. Is this possible, or is it really what I see? Oh, good question, Denise. This whole thing that we do is all based on our imagination, okay? Biologically, through all time, we evolve out of things that we don't need. Imagination is a resource-heavy thing to do. It uses a lot of calories, actually, if you look at the research. So there must be a reason why it's kept, because if it's resource heavy and we don't need it, then it would be selected for. It would just be bred out. It just wouldn't be there. But the reason we have an imagination is because that is the key. That is the way in to the unseen realms, okay? So I've got this thing called a resistance pillow, right? Which is like an imaginary pillow in my mind. And what I do with that is, if I'm thinking, oh, I'm just making this up. Like I saw a crow on my way home from work, and now I'm seeing a crow in my journey. So obviously that's just why I saw the crow. But then I remember I saw a lot of things on my way home from work, but I remembered the crow, and then I saw it again. So that's significant. So those resistances, those ideas, those worries that I'm just making it up, I just put them on my pillow and ask my guides to hold that for me. Just hold it safe, and I just let it go. Try not to get into a battle about it, okay? Because in a way we are making this up. But as you grow in confidence and you grow in ability, then you'll really begin to know the difference, and you'll feel the difference between the daily chatter that runs our mind sometimes and gets in the way a bit, and the guidance and wisdom from the journeys. So try and just put it to the side, and then just allow yourself to experience and enjoy the experience, okay? Hopefully that helps. Julie's asking, how will you remember all the steps? I am going to send out an email with the literature, and I'll make sure everybody's on the email list at the end, okay? So stay tuned for that. Denise, you are very welcome. And Sue's saying you have to trust your intuition. That's very true. And actually, a lot of us don't know our intuition yet. We haven't grown up in an environment where we're encouraged to use our imagination. We're told, oh, that's just your imagination. It's belittled. It's thought to be lesser. Stop daydreaming. Yeah, those of us who were daydreamers like me, it wasn't considered to be something particularly valuable. But actually, it's massively valuable. So for those of us who had that suppressed as children and who really didn't and weren't encouraged to work with our intuition, then we need to start to reconnect with our intuition. And it's these types of classes and courses that can really do that for us. So that's what I've got to say about intuition. Great. So we've got the 6 steps, and we've got we can't get it wrong. When we might not see things. We might not see things. We might just experience something in our body. And there's another important thing about guides that I want to say before we go on our journey. Oh, you're welcome. Will was saying thank you so far. Well, I'm glad you're enjoying it. I'm having a great time. So, guides, very important. So guides will come in a million different ways. Okay, so we were mentioning earlier on about colours. Guides can come in colours. They can come as power animals, which is just an animal. If an animal appears to you and is your guide, that's your power animal. It can be a mythical figure like Merlin or Guinevere from kind of Celtic traditions, or it could be Isis, or it could be a South American deity, something like that. It could be a celestial body. Could be the sun or the moon, could be the earth, could be a tree, like it can be literally anything. Now I've got a funny story I'm going to tell you. It's a bit embarrassing, but I'm going to tell it anyway. So when I first started with my shamanic work, I went to a power animal retrieval workshop, and I told everybody that I was going on this workshop. I told my parents, I told my brothers and sisters, I told my friends, I put it on Facebook, had everybody oh my God, this is going to be amazing. What's your power animal going to be? And I was like, it's a wolf. It's a wolf. It's definitely going to be a wolf. I can feel it in my bones. Hi Colette, I'm glad that you could make it. You'll get the first half on the replay that we're going to send out. So I'm like, it's a wolf. It's definitely a wolf. I can feel it. We're going to have this wolf striding along beside me. So I went to the workshop and I saw nothing. As I said, I don't see much. And at the time, that was really difficult for me because I was expecting this like huge thing that I would see everything. And the only thing I saw in the whole 3-hour workshop was this big black slug. That was it. And I was like, oh my God, how am I going to tell people that my power animal is a slug? Like, how am I going to tell people that? I was like embarrassed, I was like, my ego was having a field day. Oh man, I was so embarrassed. However, it turns out that this slug was one of my biggest teachers. So the idea with the slug is that I'm very fast, which you may have noticed, but I am trying to be slow. So the slug is just cool, man. He's just going along. He gets from A to B. Nobody's got to worry. So what the slug taught me as my power animal was patience and to bring my speed down and just be in the flow of life. One of my absolute most beautiful, best, wonderful teachers I've ever had. So I'm telling you that story because obviously we all like the idea of an eagle or a wolf or whatever, but any animal or any animal guide or any specific other type of guide that we receive has its own gifts. Okay, all guides are equal, but we just have to really work to get the gifts and understand why they're relevant for us. Okay, so Denise is saying that's awesome. Is there a book that explains the meanings of power animals? Well, Denise, you're great. You're on fire tonight, girl. I'm so happy you're here because you're really asking great questions. Right. Books are great. Books are great. I like books. I love books. But what I don't ever do is look up the meanings of my journeys in a book. Okay? What I do is I glean that information for myself. I keep my personal responsibility. I don't give my power away to other people to tell me what my experience was and what that means for me. Okay. Now, in the beginning, it can be quite difficult because obviously with no experience, we don't know what we're experiencing. So what you can do is read a book and look up slugs or whatever and see what they mean. But if that doesn't feel right for you, then that's not right for you. Okay? So read books, talk to friends, like I was saying, get ideas, but unless it feels good for you, unless it feels right that that's what that means for you, then feel free to put it to the side. Okay? And you're asking if there is a book that explains the meanings of power animals, and I have no idea, but I'm sure if you were to go on Amazon, you would find books like that. I just don't use them, so I wouldn't know. But a good place for you to discuss it would be in the Facebook group and see what other people's opinions of the different power animals are. That might be a fun conversation for us to have in the group, actually, so that'd be fun. So that's good. You don't give your power away. Yeah, so you're keeping your power and keeping your own power to yourself. Do you only meet guides that are right for you? Susan's asking. So there's a way to work out, a really easy way to work out if you've met a guide that's right for you. And the easy way to do that is to ask your guide, the guide that's come forward, you ask 4 times. Are you my guide? Are you my guide? Are you my guide? Are you my guide? And you get 4 yeses. And if you get 4 yeses, then you're pretty sure then that that guide is yours. Okay? I can't tell you this is definitely right. What you need to really do is be like, does this feel right for me? Is this good? Sometimes, like I'm saying, it's difficult when we're not as in touch with our intuition as we should be. So that's why we ask 4 times and get 4 yeses. I've heard people who get like a forest full of animals and they're really overwhelmed and they've no idea where to even go. So at that point, you are the master of this, right? You're the master of your experience. So you say, my guide, step forward. show yourself to me, and then something will come forward and you can ask your 4 times. So that's a really good question as well. Okay, so we're going to have a think about maybe doing a journey quite soon. So I'm going to quickly go through everything again just to make sure you're feeling comfortable. And I will speak during the journey just to give you an idea of where to go and what to do. But what I won't do is guide you step by step, because what I find is that that's very constricting for people. It doesn't really allow you to experience properly what you're doing. So also, if you end up not listening to me at all and going off yourself and meeting a guide and then coming back, that's totally fine. My voice is for the support of you if you need it, okay? So how it's going to work is I'm going to play my drum and I'm going to speak. So I'm going to guide you to the, well, I don't know, the guides speak through me, but I'm going to guide you in some way to have this experience. So the things to remember when we're in this space, you cannot get this wrong. You cannot get it wrong. We're not in school, people. Nobody's going to be like, oh, well, you didn't do that right, did you? That's not going to happen, okay? We cannot get this work wrong. Your experience is exactly right for you, okay? You might not see things, so be really open to what's going on in your body, what's going on in your heart, what's going on in your face, what's just what you feel like, yeah? So being really open, so you might not see things. What else? I think that's it, really. And our intention for this journey is to meet a guide. A guide can come in many forms. Just be open, ask 4 times. And I will say this again in the journey, okay? So you don't have to panic and think, oh God, how am I going to remember all that? So I will repeat this and say it in the journey space, okay? And then again, if you go off and have your own experience with the drum, brilliant, that's great, because there's no wrong way to do it, okay? So can I have some yeses if everybody's happy to try it? And if there's anybody who has more questions, then now is the time, because we're really nearly ready to give it a try. Yep, Sandra, Susanna, Lorraine, Hilary, Sue, let's go. Willow, woohoo, yes. Alison, Colette, Tracy, Joe, great, perfect. Perfect. So, yeah, wow, lots of yeses, great, everybody's ready, fantastic. So, at the end of the journey, when it's time to come back, the drum beat will be very fast, like this, okay? So I'll say thank you to your guides, it's time to return, and I'll do a return beat, which is very fast, and it's that point that you come back the way you came. But I will remind you again of that in the journey as well. So I'll give you a minute. I'd like you to lie down, get comfortable. You don't have to see me for this, as long as you can hear me. And I'll do the sacred space setting for us, because that's step 1, remember. Okay. So take some nice deep breaths. Nice deep breaths. We're feeling our bodies. We're feeling the air moving into our body. What does it feel like as it crosses through your nose and mouth and into your lungs? What does the air feel like on your face? What do your clothes feel like against your skin? Bringing our awareness down and into our bodies, out of our head space and into our bodies. And we're going to commit now to leaving our daily chatter at the door, held safe for us when we return. It's not going anywhere, so we can let that go. Committing to breathing deeply, committing to feeling our bodies. We call on the four sacred directions, north, east, south and west. We call on the sky above and the earth below. We call on the four sacred elements of earth, air, fire and water. And we call on the sun, the moon and the stars. We feel your presence all around as we begin to open this healing, sacred temple of light, connecting all of us through space and time, including those who will watch and experience later the joy and magic of a timeless, spaceless universe. We call on our ancestors now to succor and protect us. And we call on our guides, both known and unknown, to support us in this journey, in this sacred ceremony today. We call on the spirit of the land where each of us lie. We call on the nature beings, the trees, the waterways, the oceans, mountains and valleys, the hidden folk. We thank you for allowing us to do this work. We thank you for allowing us to have this experience exactly right for each person, as each of us now embarks on a journey to meet a guide. We connect with our hearts and we are open to whatever our guides look like, feel like, smell like, sound like. We are open to that knowing in our heart space, and we remember that there is no wrong way to experience a shamanic journey. Each of us commit to staying connected to our breath. If we feel our minds wander, then we will breathe deeply, bringing ourselves back to centre. And we will relax, knowing that we will experience exactly what we need. You are aware of your body. You are aware of your breath. great tree calls to you. Notice what that feels like for you as you are drawn into movement. Yourself moving along now. What can you see or hear or feel? Or what do you know? The drumbeat fills your heart. Carries you to the great tree. Aware of the great tree. What does it look like for you? What does it feel like for you? Is it large or small? What does your inner knowing tell you about this sacred gateway? You spend some time now with this tree, or however this tree presents to you. It may not look like a tree, it may not feel like a tree, but you know it is your gateway. To breathe deeply. You walk around the tree. Perhaps you can feel it or smell it. Do you know what season it is in? Perhaps you know what species it is. This is your sacred gateway. Feel the connection in your heart, for you will come here again many, many times. remember to ask 4 times, are you my guide? There is no rush. Relax and be open to what comes for you. If your guide is clear to you, perhaps you would like to ask some questions. Do you have any wisdom for me? Is there anything I need to know right now that will help me in my life? Remember to breathe deeply and stay connected with your body. Allow your breath to relax your mind. Those of you who have met your guide, allow your guide to take you wherever is right for you in this moment. For anyone who is still waiting, concentrate on your breath. Listen to your heart and your inner knowing. Your first thought is usually correct. the end of our time. Ask your guide to complete what you are doing. Give thanks and gratitude. And on the return beat, please go back the way you came. Now take some nice deep breaths, feeling those fingers and toes, feeling yourself properly in your body. Begin to move around. And then if you have a notebook next to you, then you can make a few notes for a minute. And as soon as anybody feels ready, you can also share your experiences. And also if you have any questions, you can share those as well. So the next minute might be quite quiet while I just give you all a chance to come back gently. So that's Willow saying that she met a witch guide, which is great. Well done, Willow. And what I've also done is I've uploaded a track for you to use. So you'll see that in the handout section. So that's a 20-minute drumming track that's available for you to download. So Willow's saying that she travelled to the forest and showed her it's time to work with the earth and not to be ashamed of who you are. Oh, Willow, that's really beautiful. Thank you for sharing. That's really special. Denise is saying that she met an owl guide and he told me that I know where I'm going as I've started my journey to stay focused and spread her wings and see this wonderful world. Oh, that's lovely, Denise, well done. Colette's saying that she drifted off to sleep and doesn't remember anything. Colette, that's absolutely fine. So if we remember that our experiences, there's nothing wrong. It's just that that's what you needed right now. Maybe there's a lot going on in your life. Maybe you needed a bit of a rest, and that's exactly what you got. So what I've done is I've put a handout of a drumming track, so you can go back and try this again, or you can listen to the replay as well. So you can keep at it. Mary is saying that the drum became very Aboriginal for her, which is really good. Jill ended up having a really sore neck and couldn't concentrate. Susan was disturbed and will have to try again. Sophie was saying that was really powerful, checked in with a few animals, and then asking 4 times, she felt a very strong yes for a guide. So that's beautiful. Well done, Sophie, that's great. And Tracy met a living shaman and learned about patience. So you guys that couldn't concentrate, had a sore neck or were really disturbed, those are messages in themselves. So that is the way that we can choose to think, oh, well, it didn't work. So, you know, I was just disturbed and I'll have to try again. I can feel the kind of that sense of being really told something about that. So when you go back into your next journey, you can also, to meet a guide, you can also really ask for get clarity around why you were disturbed in this particular setting. So you can check out that. You're welcome, Michelle. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Sue was changing between a wolf and a Native American Indian and spent a lot of time dancing around the tree, sending healing to Mother Nature. Oh, well, that's lovely, Sue. It's really beautiful. Jane met her usual guide. That's great. And he brought through his granddaughter who helped to heal my heart. Wow, that's really so beautiful. And Susan's saying it's amazing to hear about everyone else's experiences. So that's what's really important about the Facebook group, is like when we do this work, it can be really isolating and you're not really sure if it's like really weird or it's actually true. But when you hear about everybody else's experiences, it brings us all together and it makes us realise that we can all have these experiences and they can all be a bit crazy, but actually it's amazing and really magical. Jo met her younger self. That's pretty normal. So younger self, older self. So if you've met your younger self, then maybe there's some questions that you can ask her. So she's got to tell you. You can go back in and check up about that. Jo's saying, good learning curve. You're brilliant. Thanks. Keeps cutting out, but I felt calmed. Great. Thanks, Jo. Denise loved this. Felt a heat in her head and tears running down my face. Oh, that's lovely. Susanna revisited a trauma where an animal attacked her. So that's really interesting, Susanna. I'd like you to, if there's anything there that you want to talk about or you need to email me, then just Rhonda@centreforshamanism.com and we can have a chat about that. If you're feeling in any way unsettled by that, that would be fine. Willow loved it. Lorraine was working with her Mayan guide, lots of dancing. Hilary felt at peace, but she was relaxing, so she drifted off somewhere. So she'll repeat tomorrow. Julie met an Indian who said to be calm and patient and ended up sitting beside him around the fire. Mary got lots of colours with lots of green. I know I need healing and lots of warmth. So that's great. And Jo was saying the drum felt like it was talking. The drum does talk, like that's the shaman's instrument. It's like the heartbeat. It's like, you know, it's the skin between worlds, you know, it's that really beautiful sense of like depth and magic. So yeah, the drum really does talk. I tried to catch everybody there, but the comments were going quite fast. So if I missed you out and you want to ask me something, then you can just let me know. Yeah. Hilary was quite anxious and teary before we began, but she felt some kind of release. Yeah, that often happens in journeys as well. So that's really good to know for that. Okay. So I have said many, many times tonight that I have got literature for you, which includes all the steps. And sorry, I'm just gonna answer Alison actually. So she saw mountains and landscapes, grass, heather, tree in the distance, walked the tree, pool and stream at the base. She saw a salmon or a trout, a wren and a hare. Not sure if I imagined them, but that's fine, Alison. That just takes a bit of practice. Nobody answered my 4 questions, and the moon appeared at the end and it didn't answer either. Perfect. So when you are in that space where you've not received a yes, then you can either watch the replay and do it again, or you can use the drumming track that I've given you and you can go in and do that again. So it sounds like you had a really great experience, really held, and maybe you just needed a bit more time to kind of connect with whatever your guide was going to be. Great. And Jo's saying thank you really very much, and she's really enjoyed it. Well, I'm really enjoying it as well. So we've still got a wee healing circle to do, so I'm quite excited about that because they're always really relaxing and really nice. So emails. So if you are subscribed to my email list, you'll remember when you registered for this web workshop, there were 2 boxes that you had to click in order for me to have permission through GDPR to email you. So if you didn't tick those boxes, you're not on my email list, and I legally can't email you, okay? So if you signed up, then the literature will be winging its way to you, and if you didn't, there'll be a box popping up just in a second that will let you join the email list if you didn't already, okay? There it is there, so you can sign up to get your course material, and then if you don't want any more of my emails after that, then you can unsubscribe, but I can't legally send you the literature if you've not signed up to the email list. So please do that. And if you miss it, I'll put the links up again at the end. So what will probably also happen throughout after this workshop is that you'll probably think, oh, I wish I had asked this, or I wish I had asked this. And if that is you, then go to the Facebook group. Join the Facebook page, okay? So if you're watching the replay, actually, sorry, I forgot about this. If you're watching the replay, the box doesn't appear automatically. What you'll need to do is you can subscribe underneath the video. There'll be a link there for you to subscribe if you're watching the replay, okay? So the Facebook group, the community is really important because you've seen how many questions we've had, like just zinging through tonight, which has been fantastic. If you're doing this by yourself, then you're not going to have that necessarily. So the Facebook group is there for you to post in it. This was my experience. You don't have to share anything that you're not comfortable sharing, but you can share in the Facebook group and maybe support each other, and it will be open for a couple of weeks after this workshop to give you some support, okay? Now, I said I was going to do a competition, didn't I, which is really exciting. There you go, there's the link for the Facebook group. And if you join that, that'll be great. And then anybody who's watching later, the link will be below for that. So what I really want to be able to do is really encourage you to do a journey at home, okay? So I'm kind of bribing you a little bit, but I feel like it's really important. Lorraine's saying she can't download the track. If there's any problems, then we'll email the track out, so that's fine. I'm distracted. Oh yeah, the competition. So what I'm going to offer you, the winner of this competition, is a one-to-one session with me. Okay, those are worth £95. I'm usually quite busy. I usually book up quite far in advance. So this is a really great opportunity for you to work with me one-to-one, okay? And what you need to do in order to be eligible to win is you need to put together an intention, and then you need to go on a journey, okay? And then you need to write that down, and then go into the Facebook group, and you'll see the competition post. So there'll be a competition post there, and we're going to put that in. And then underneath, you have to do it on the competition post. So on the competition post underneath, I want you to write your intention, okay, so that we can see that we're getting the right intentions, that we're not fortune telling, okay? So you'll get your intention, and then a little bit about what you learned, okay? So that's the competition, and the winner will work with me one-to-one. Now, the key to shamanic journeying, the whole point of all of this stuff that we do, okay, of all of this stuff that we do, is that we're looking for ways to personally develop, okay? We're looking for answers to questions. We're looking for steps that we can take in order to expand ourselves, expand our life, just make everything better for ourselves, right? That's what we're all trying to do. We're all trying to find connection. We're all trying to find heart space. We're all trying to find healing. So you can go on as many journeys as you want, but if you don't find the actions and put them into practice, then your journey work's going to become pretty pointless pretty quickly, okay? So it's the team. You're part of your spiritual team. So in order for you to be an effective member of your spiritual team, you need to put into actions the things that you learn in your journeys, okay? So this is what the competition is really about. It's about checking in with the intention, and then what did you learn? What are you going to put into practice, okay? What are you going to do in your life to create change, create those ripples of change, okay? So is that clear? Everybody happy with that? Everybody happy to be involved in the competition? I'm quite excited actually to see who wins. That'll be great. So how it will go is that everybody who enters correctly, who's the intention and the action, will go in a draw, and it will just be pulled like that. So I'm not going to pick somebody. It's not going to be the best. It's just going to be the person who it's absolutely right that it's going to be. Okay? Yeah, we've got lots of yeses there. That's good. Everybody's feeling good about that. Okay, so if nobody has any more questions, then we're going to move into the healing circle phase of the evening. Just give you a second or two to see if there's any more questions. Okay, I think we're good. So, a healing circle, for those of you who have not experienced a healing circle before, it's really super simple. So you go back to your lying down position, and for those of you who felt disturbed or a bit sore or a bit distracted, or you fell asleep or whatever, there's two things that you guys can do. One is you can go on another journey if you want to, and see about meeting a guide if you want to do that. Or you can simply relax and allow yourself to receive from the healing circle, okay? Some of you may go on a journey naturally. I know there's a few people in here actually that I recognise, like Lorraine and maybe Mary, who will probably go on a journey as well. So you can journey in this space, but the main point of the healing circle is just to really hold each person and give them what they need in order to have the confidence to do this work at home. So that's what I'm all about. I'm like, I just want you guys to be able to do this for yourself and not have to rely on other people, okay? So that's what the healing circle is about. It's about just clearing any blocks, or, you know, giving us a bit of motivation, or giving us a bit of clarity, or just a bit of deep heart space healing maybe as well. So each person, again, will get exactly what's right for them, all right? So if you want to lie down, again, get yourselves comfortable. And this will involve slightly different sounds this time. I'll be drumming, but for the healing circles, I also sing and chant, and it's the healing spirit that comes through my voice. And then at the end, I'll play the ocean drum, which sounds like the sea. It's quite loud, but really relaxing. So I'll play that at the end as well. Okay. I'll be slightly further away from the mic. Okay, so if everybody just wants to take some nice deep breaths, please. Once again, we call on the four sacred directions of north, east, south and west, the sky above and the earth below. We feel ourselves still in this sacred healing temple of light. With our guides, both known and unknown, beside us, ready to give us exactly what we need, and we are ready to receive a blessing, a healing, or whatever it is that's exactly right for each of us this evening. We are open and ready. And connected to the light of the infinite universe. We give our thanks and our blessings to all the beings who were present for our healing circle this evening. We feel gratitude in our hearts for all of the gifts and the knowledge and the guidance we have received this evening. Thank you. This session, this healing circle is now complete, but blessings continue to flow. Okay, everybody, just take some nice deep breaths. Feel yourself wiggling your fingers and toes, moving your body, coming back to yourself. And whenever you're ready, you can just type yes in the comments so I know you're all back. Great, good, lots of amazings. That's what I like to hear. Good, great. So if anybody's got anything that they'd like to share from that experience, I'd love to hear it. Yeah, lots of magicals and thank yous, everybody. I'm so glad you enjoyed it. I do love those healing circles. They're one of my favourite things to do. So yeah, I just wanted to give anybody the opportunity to share anything that happened so that you can feel heard and seen in that. Willow's saying that she's seen a female deer appearing, which is great. Good. Lots of beautiful, wonderful feedback. That's amazing. Denise's owl came back, telling her to keep her energy high and not to take on other people's negative energy. That's a really good piece of advice from your owl, isn't it? That's lovely. Okay. So the box for the Facebook group's still there if anybody needs to still join in order to be part of the competition. The basic steps will be coming out in the email. So you can make sure that you have subscribed so that you can get that. Otherwise, I can't email you. Mary's saying that, her dad came and gave her a big hug, and then an animal. She's not sure if it was a deer. Oh, that's really beautiful. Thank you for sharing, Mary. That's really powerful. So that's the box now up for the signing up to the email list if you didn't do that. Just so you can get your literature. And we're also going to send out a few other emails as well with extra wee goodies just to say thank you for taking the time out of your day to come to this workshop. So you'll get a few other things as well from that. Denise is saying that it was amazing. She got so much healing from that. That's lovely to hear. That's great. It's really, really good. Super. And then Alison went back to the same place as on her journey. She saw a bit more, saw a group of people around a fire, felt like an onlooker. Great, yeah, that's good. Blue light around your periphery. I think that sounds amazing, Alison. I think you're doing really, really well. That's brilliant. Really good visuals. Jill saying thank you. You're welcome, Jill. Glad you enjoyed it. So that's shamanism in as much of a nutshell as I can put it in. Oh, Amy, yes, this is the chat section, yes. And you struggled to find it, but you're glad you caught this after you did a Reiki client, and it's a great way to cleanse and heal. That's lovely to hear. Welcome, Amy. I'm really glad you could come. Yay. So this is shamanism, or at least shamanic journey in a nutshell. So what's really important to remember about shamanism, and it's really vast, and this is just like one tiny slither of what we can do with shamanism, is the shamanic journey. There's loads of other things that you can do. So in the Facebook group, again, if you're interested in finding out more, let me know, and we can like chat and see what else you want to find out about. I'm available in there for a couple of weeks, so please take advantage. Like, get in, chat, you know, share things, tell me how you're getting on with your journey work, ask questions, tell me about your struggles, tell me about your fears, tell me about your hesitations, because if you're feeling it, you can bet your bottom dollar that other people are feeling it as well. So it's really good to have those few brave people who can really share their vulnerability so that other people feel like they can do that as well. And it can really open you up to a much broader range of experience if you're able to do that. So if anybody's feeling particularly brave, then the Facebook group is the place to be, okay? So I am available, Rhonda at centreforshamanism.com. If anybody has anything that's come up that's particularly difficult that you might not have wanted to share in the chat, like, I'm available for that. I know that this is really deep work that we do, and sometimes people can experience something that they need a bit of support with. And I would never do one of these workshops without offering that support. So if anybody needs me, Rhonda at centreforshamanism.com, and I'll be right there to help, okay? So unless anybody's got any other questions, I think that's us finished for the evening. So I'm just going to give it 10 seconds just to see, and maybe you can start saying goodbye so that I know that everybody's complete and ready to give this a try, and check out the competition post in the Facebook group. We'll see. No, Susie's saying thank you, so we're done there. Yeah, lots of thank yous and bye-byes. Super. Great. Well, blessings, everybody. Happy journey in. Please get in touch if you need any support or help. And I can't thank you enough for giving me 2 hours of your time. That's really special. And I really appreciate each and every one of you who've given your time coming on this workshop tonight, and those of you who watch the replay as well. So much love, happy journey in, and I will see you all in the Facebook group. All right, much love, everybody.